All right, what's up, algebra? Today we are doing 3-2, which is solving inequalities using addition or subtraction. All right, yeah, that's pretty much what the objective is too. So use addition or subtraction to solve inequalities. So we'll just go ahead. We're going to skip through basically this entire first page. We're just going to come down here to problem 1. All right, so we are going to, hopefully not do what I just did. We're going to look at problem 1. It is pretty standard. So really, whenever we are doing these problems, right, with inequalities, they're pretty much the same as if we were just doing equations. All right, the way you solve them are going to be, for the most part, the same. There is a little bit that's a little bit different, but we won't even get into that today. That'll be probably 3. It's going to be in 3-3. All right. So if we look at problem 1, we start out with x minus 15 is greater than negative 12. All right. And then from here, like I said, all we do is just solve like normal. All right, so we're going to add 15 to both sides, and then we're going to be left with x is greater than 3. All right. And then if you want to do the graph, it's right here. You're going to need to be able to do that graph. I'm not going to graph it right now, though, just because I think we grasped that yesterday. So go ahead and do got it question number 1. So what are the solutions of n minus 5 is less than negative 3? And then graph the solution the same way they do on problem 1 with the number line. So go ahead and take your time to do that. All right, so here on problem 2, we've just got another example. Once again, it's really similar to what we've done before. So we have 10 is greater than or equal to x minus 3. All right, and just like usual, we're just going to add 3 to both sides to use the addition property of equality. And then those will cancel. And we have 13 is greater than or equal to x. All right, you can also write that as x is less than or equal to 13 if that makes it easier for you to graph it. All right, and there's that graph right there. All right, note that they also check it here and here. All right, and they are just checking the numbers that are close to 13 or even 13 since we have an equals sign involved. And so they're just checking to make sure they're shading the right side of the dot, which would be the left side. The correct side of the dot, which would be the left side. There. Now, hopefully that's a little bit less confusing. All right. Go ahead and do got it question 2. Hopefully, again, this one's not too difficult. Just take a few seconds to do that. Go ahead and graph number 2 as well, and then we will move on. All right, so for problem 3, once you've done that got it number 2, we've got t plus 6 is greater than negative 4. All right, this is the same thing once again. This time we're using the subtraction property of inequality. Side note, I think I said addition property of equality. Obviously, this is an equation, and they don't equal each other necessarily. So I meant to say addition property of inequality, but yeah. So this one is the subtraction property of inequality. Okay, so just like normal, we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. T is greater than negative 10. All right, and that is that. I'm sure these problems are very simple for you just because they're the exact same as what we do with the equals signs. So I won't make you do got it problem number 3. That way you don't fall asleep while you're trying to solve it. All right. Okay, so our last one already. We're only 4.5 minutes in. Look at us fly. We're just going to do a word problem real quick. So this one's about computers. It says the hard drive on your computer has a capacity of 120 gigabytes. you have used 85 gigabytes. You want to save some home videos to your hard drive. What are the possible sizes of the home video collection you can save? All right, so once again, it's just the same as if you were doing a word problem that was an equation, but now there's going to be a greater than or a less than factor to it. All right, so they define v as their variable, which is fine with me. We can choose whichever one we want. All right, and then v is the size of the video collection. All right, so that's all your home videos, how much space they can take up. All right, and we've already used 85 gigabytes, so we're going to add that to the size of the videos to find out what our maximum is. All right, so at most, whenever you see is at most, you're going to know that means it has to be less than or equal to. All right, so it gets a little bit confusing here because at most actually means less than, even though it seems like it should mean greater than, but it's not greater than. All right, so at most also implies that it can be equal to the number that they give you. So we have 85 plus v is less than or equal to the hard drive capacity, which they tell us is 120 gigabytes. All right, now we've set up our equation, and we can go ahead and solve again like normal. So we're going to use the subtraction property of inequality. See that I said it right this time. All right, cancel those out. We've got v is less than or equal to whatever that number is. Should be 35. Sweet, I should have just looked over here, it tells me. But the maximum capacity of the video collection would be 35 gigabytes. So that's the most space that it can take up. All right, so I want you to go ahead and try out 4A. The reason for this is I just want you to have a chance to try to do a word problem with an inequality, because I think that can be the most confusing part of this lesson is the setting it up properly. All right, so do 4A, and then we will come back together as a class, and we will talk about it. I will see you guys then.